how to make German-style potato dumplings, probably a 100-year-old recipe. No such thing as a recipe. It's a family dish. Cozad. I had to peel the onions, and I did like 3, and I cooked them really slow in olive oil or butter until they were nice and soft and done. Now I'm peeling potatoes, and I put the water on to boil. But lots of water because you have to add the dumplings to the water when the potatoes get done. So you just cut the potatoes up like you were going to make potato soup. Then tonight there isn't a whole lot of it, so we won't be cooking a whole lot of potatoes. But it does take a lot if you're cooking for a lot of people. So that's what I'm going to do now. It might help if I turn the water on. Make sure you salt the water. And you don't cut the potatoes in big chunks. Or you have to cut them in smaller ones. There's the way.
You gonna cook and show?
I'm going to cook. Are you going to help me make dumplings? Are you going to stir for me? Stir those dumplings? Man, I hope so. That's the hard part. You gotta have a strong person. I always like to start to flour and stuff and have somebody stirring it. It's hard to do.
How many potatoes?
You know, if I was cooking for everybody, I'd do 5 pounds. You know, tonight I'm just doing just a few potatoes. I like more dumplings than potatoes. The potatoes, you got to have the potatoes because the potatoes are what give you the flavor in the potato water. You have to be careful though. You can't cook the potatoes too done because you have to add the dumplings to the potatoes. And the secret is letting the dumplings cook in the water. And I should make some more potatoes. Oh, got some. So, now you could let it rest while because I'm not ready to do the flour. Flour and salt. Because you have to add salt at every turn. This is not a healthy meal. It's not healthy at all. It's however you do it, it's 1 cup of flour to 1 egg. So then you have to take a spoon. This is the hard part. It can be hard. And stir those 2 eggs up into these 2 cups of flour till it starts to get that crumble. And you just stir and stir. Till it gets like little pebbles. Okay, then you take another 2 cups. Of course, if I was making this for the whole family, I would probably use the whole 5 pounds of flour and more than a dozen eggs. So, you know, when eggs are cheap and stuff and potatoes, it's a pretty cheap meal. And it's salt again. I like to do it with all the different steps so that I know it gets salty. So see, this is 4 cups. How many do you use just for your family? I mean, I'm not used to 6. I'm not used to making small batches, so
you know, I do 6 so that.
Like I say, I would actually have this whole bowl full of flour mixture when I was done. That's why I don't make it all the time, because it takes a lot then when that's ready to make the dumplings. And I always add a few eggs. At the end. And I'm sure this is going to be enough for all of us for supper. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
And let's put in the egg for good measure. Sometimes if eggs, and I got lots of them, I'll put several extra in. What all the girls always had trouble is how much liquid to add. Well, there's no secret. I mean, I don't know. You just dump it and there you go. There's just no real measurement to this. Just pour the water in and start stirring. Don't pour a whole lot to begin with, just, I had 2 cups there about. And now I gotta get it into that. Sometimes I've done too much and then I have to go back and you can see that it's
Look at that.
Get all that dough in. So, for an average family, I guess we found out 6 cups of flour, 7 eggs, and about 2 cups of water. And go from there. Okay, now we'll wait.
How many potatoes did you put in?
Oh, I don't know. There was about 6. It just, whatever your preference, I'm like lots of potatoes. It is something you have to just keep making and making and making until you get like Julia Child and see, you can tell the bottom's full of potatoes. Potatoes are getting done, so what you have to do now is take it by the spoonfuls. And in the bowl over there, I put a little bit of milk already to start warming, and I put a little chunk of butter because it makes the potatoes really good. And this can be, usually I have somebody helping me. There isn't nobody.
I'm going to help you.
That's okay. Okay, so now the water quit boiling immediately once you start to put those dumplings in there. So now we're letting the dumplings set and we're letting the water come back up to a boil. I just guess. I just watched the dumplings and we'll see how long it takes when I get ready. And boiling over on the stove because I wasn't watching. All the water that's there now. And you have to be really careful and have some help. 2 hands because there's a lot in those even for this. And strain it. And then I need some pepper. I'm going to get some pepper. Tell you what, it's good when leftovers, you want leftovers. It is so good. There it is, just